Have you ever wondered what the world's worst industrial disaster was? The answer lies in a story from the heart of India, a tragic event known as the Bhopal disaster, or Bhopal Gas Tragedy. Our tale begins on the night of December 2nd and 3rd in 1984. Nestled in the heart of India, in the city of Bhopal, Madhya Pradesh, stood a formidable entity, a pesticide factory. This factory was not just any run-of-the-mill establishment. It was an enterprise owned by a global corporate giant, the Union Carbide India Limited. Situated in a densely populated locale, it was a formidable source of livelihood for the locals. The factory appeared an imposing silhouette against the night sky, its tall chimneys reaching out to the heavens, its myriad lights twinkling like stars, vanquishing the darkness. At first glance, to represent the triumph of human innovation and industry, a promise of better quality of life. But beneath this facade of progress, danger lurked. Behind its high walls and tight security, a disaster was brewing, one that was to shatter the peace and tranquility of this small Indian city. The plant was a sprawling complex, a maze of pipes, tanks, and machinery. It was a hub of ceaseless activity, a place where science met commerce, where chemicals danced in a ballet of manufacturing. But within this intricate choreography of technology lay a fatal flaw, a ticking time bomb waiting to detonate. Among the many chemicals that were synthesized in this vast industrial fortress was a compound called methyl isocyanate. It was a key ingredient in the production of pesticides, a substance that was supposed to improve the lives of farmers by enhancing crop yield. However, this chemical had a malevolent side. It was an insidious gas, highly toxic and volatile, a silent killer in the guise of a benefactor. On that fateful night, the unthinkable happened. A mechanical failure, a human error, or perhaps a combination of both led to a catastrophic chemical reaction. Unbeknownst to the people in the nearby small towns sleeping peacefully in their homes, a deadly cloud was being unleashed. The gas, heavier than air, began to descend silently towards the unsuspecting towns. It spread like a malevolent blanket, seeping into homes, penetrating every nook and cranny. The night air, usually filled with the sounds of crickets and the occasional owl, was now silent, save for the hissing of the escaping gas. The people, oblivious to the impending doom, were nestled in their dreams, unaware that the very air they were breathing was turning into poison. It was a tragedy of untold proportions, a disaster not seen or heard of before in the annals of industrial accidents. What followed was a night of horror, of pain and suffering, as the lethal gas took its toll. People woke up choking, gasping for breath, their eyes burning. Panic ensued as they tried to escape, but there was no escaping the pervasive toxic cloud. The dawn of December 4th revealed the true extent of the catastrophe. The once bustling towns were now ghost towns. Streets were littered with bodies, human and animal. Houses stood eerily silent, and an overwhelming silence hung in the air. The vibrant city of Bhopal had turned into a city of death overnight. Over 500,000 people in the small towns surrounding the plant were exposed to an insidious, highly toxic gas called methyl isocyanate. Thus, our tale commemorates one of the most tragic industrial disasters in history, a grim reminder of the potential danger lurking behind the facade of human technological progress. The immediate aftermath was horrifying. The official immediate death toll stood at 2,259. But this was only the beginning. By 2008, the government of Madhya Pradesh had compensated the family members of 3,787 victims who lost their lives due to the gas release. The number of injured victims was a staggering 574,366. The lingering effects of the disaster were just as devastating. A government affidavit in 2006 stated that the leak caused over 500,000 injuries, including around 38,000 temporary partial injuries and approximately 3,900 severe and permanently disabling injuries. The factory, owned by the Union Carbide Corporation, a United States company, saw its majority stake held by Indian government-controlled banks and the Indian public. In 1989, the company paid $470 million to settle litigation that arose from the disaster. Years later, in 1994, Union Carbide sold its stake in the Indian company to Ever Eddie Industries India Limited, which subsequently merged with McLeod Russell. Eveready ended its cleanup on the site in 1998, handing over control of the site to the state government of Madhya Pradesh. The aftermath of the tragedy was mired in legal battles. Civil and criminal cases were filed in both the United States and India. These cases were against Union Carbide and Warren Anderson, the CEO of the company at the time of the disaster. In 2010, 7 Indian nationals who were employees of the Union Carbide India Limited during the disaster were convicted in Bhopal of causing death by negligence. They were sentenced to 2 years imprisonment and a fine of about $2,000 each. To recap, the Bhopal disaster, a chilling event that unfolded in December 1984, was the world's worst industrial disaster. The event led to significant loss of life and long-term health implications for hundreds of thousands of individuals. It resulted in lengthy and complex legal battles involving multinational corporations and governments. The tragedy continues to serve as a stark reminder of the potential human cost of industrial negligence. Voiceover. One of the most terrifying aspects of the Bhopal disaster was the claustrophobic effects of the gas. On that fateful night, people found themselves trapped in their homes, unable to escape the deadly gas that seeped in through every crack and crevice. The gas was so dense and pervasive, it created a suffocating claustrophobic atmosphere, leaving victims gasping for breath in their own homes. Many people succumbed to the gas, not from the toxicity alone, but due to the inability to breathe in this oppressive environment. The claustrophobic effects of the gas added another layer of horror to this already tragic event, a chilling testament to the nightmarish reality endured by the victims of Bhopal.